Hey everybody, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching. So today I'm going to show you how to make a single flip using the triple flip DL die set. So I've made this fun portrait style one here because the other tutorial I showed, it was landscape. And then you pull the tab, so it says, "Holy cow, you are how old?" And then when you pull the tab, I hope you have an utterly awesome day. Just a fun card style there, and I've created this scene using the cows. You've got the sheep flying there. Of course, and I've just created that fun little scene, even the little chick popping his head out of the milk churn there, and you've got all your space inside there. Stamp and write your message, and that will all fit into a DL size envelope. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make it. This is the DL Flip and See die set, and I've got all of mine laid out there, and I'll talk you through all what you'll need to cut. I'm also using it with the tails and tops and the tops and tails stamp and die sets. These are all your different farmyard animals, and then the sentiment set is the farmyard sentiments. And then I've used this, and I've got the farmyard icons die set. It's all linked below the video. And then this one here, there may not be any left by the time this video goes out, but it's down at the farm and it's by Daisy May. So we didn't launch this one with a paper pad, but I saw this one on the site, so I asked Crastash if I could have a set, and they've kindly sent me this one. So I've taken this image here, which is actually this one of the house, but I just wanted, I mean, these look great in like the slide and reveal, if you've got that as like your background, and on like the wiper cards, your shutter cards, it's just really nice, different backdrops. See that one there as well, that one there, really cool. But I've taken the, where is it, I've obviously missed it, this one. But I just wanted that part there because I thought it worked quite well with this die set. But that portion again is going to look really nice, you know, on many cards. So what you want to do first of all is cut this die here. This is the main mechanism plate. Now, because that's a paper, this one here is 190 GSM. It's not quite strong enough to hold the pressure when you pull and push the pull tab. So I've cut it, and then I've cut it again in white 300 GSM cardstock, and just stuck those together. I've used my construction glue, which is always linked below the videos. So now that's nice and strong. I've then got my DL card blank here. So a DL is 8 1/4, so it's the width of A4 cardstock. And then you just want to do it as a square. So 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. And along one of the sides, you're going to score at 4 1/8. Or if you've got shop bought, it will already be that size. I've then cut this die here, which is your matte layer. Optional if you want this one. It's got the stitch detail at the top and the bottom. And I stuck that on top. And then I cut the finger pull. So this one here, it will cut a semicircle out. What you want to do is, I'll just pretend doing it at this end, is you want to have it in the middle. And you want the straight cut line hanging off the side there. So just slightly over the edge of the card. And then you just want to run that through so it just cuts the semicircle out. If it doesn't cut through all the layers, then cut it first just with the card blank, so just through like that, and then add your matte layer, and then it's easy to line that up again. So get that all prepared. So this one is going to sit over the top. This is going to be a portrait. We're going to have it this way up, and then you want to cut this one here, which is the pull tab, okay, and that one will go underneath. Now we may end up trimming that because we're only having the one flip on this one, but that goes at the top, and then that sits in the middle. So you can see how it just neatens everything up like so. So this one here is the flip panel. You only need to do one because we're just having a single flip at the top. Or you might have yours in the middle or at the bottom. It really doesn't matter. But if you're doing all three, then you'd want to die cut 3 of them, or two of them. But in today's video, just the one. Fold and burnish the two. If you on here, you'll feel that these 2 lines here are much deeper than this one. This one here is just a guide. It was a guide for where to add your glue, but actually from designing it to now putting it together, I said in the other video, it's not until you have the stuff to actually use that then things kind of change, and actually I found a much easier way to put it together. So you can just ignore that one. It doesn't, you know, affect the workings in any way. It was just a guide, but these ones here are deeper. These are your score lines. I always like to just go over them in my scoreboard, just so it makes them easier to fold, and then just fold both of those like so. And you want to fold it so that you have this panel and that guideline on the back, and then on the front you've got the thin little panel there, and then this larger panel. Okay, so this one here, you're going to slide it through the back. It's the guide panel you want on the back there, and then just bring this down where that guideline is, Okay, and that's where you would add your glue for the pull tab. But what you can also do, so I guess that kind of works quite well if you're doing a single flip, but if you're doing the triple flip, then you don't need to worry about that guide, and you would have seen that in the original video anyway. But that's going to go like so, so that when we pull this, this is going to flip down. Just grab a little glue, and you just want to add just a little bead of glue just on the back there, and then just let that stick down on there. When this sticks to the pull tab, when that pulls, it will move this side panel, which will allow the main part to flip open. So in the die set, you've got all these mats and layers here. So I've nested together the largest stitched ones. You've got 2 stitched ones, the largest stitched one with then the 2 plain ones. So they're all the mats and layers for the fronts of the panels. And then you've got this stitched one here, and this is your layer for the inside. So this, although it's on the top now, this ends up being your inside panel, but you see that fits perfectly over the top. But you can also add the stitched one in here, and then that layers on top as well. So there's a few ways to do this. Like I said, I'm trying to share as many tutorials as I can to just, you know, so it all makes sense. But what I've done here is I've cut the largest of the plain dies in black here, and then the next size down in the white, and that's going to stick over the top. And I've stamped the cow and then the sentiment, "Holy cow, you are how old?" And that's going to go on the front here. And then when this flips down, it will reveal this sentiment here: "Hope you have an utterly awesome day." You'll see how that sits there, and that's going to go on the top. I'm going to add my glue on the back there, like so. And then you want to add your glue just along this very thin panel and just run. You might want to use double-sided tape there instead if you've got thin tape. It's entirely up to you. So now we're going to sit the bottom of this piece here, so it's flush with the bottom of this piece. Make sure it's in the middle of this panel. So I'm just going to shift that across a little bit. There we go. Give that a minute to dry. I'm going to stick this one on top of here. So now the inside mats and layers look like these ones. Okay, again, whilst that's still drying, flip this over. You're going to run some glue all along this one here. Again, don't let any glue go anywhere else apart from on there. Line up the bottom of this with the bottom slot there, and then just lay that down straight, like so. What we can then do is snip all the excess off, but you'll see now how that sits really neatly over the top. You've got the tiniest little arrow here. We'll add that as well whilst that's drying. So now, I know that's not stuck down in there, but if you pull this, can you see that flips open? Okay, and that's where I'm now going to stick this one here. So it's going to completely cover that section. You could have another sentiment there as well. You could have photos on these. There's so much you can do with this die set. Lots of different ways to put it together, and it will work great with, you know, things you already have in your stash. And if I go to close that and then push down, it's easier then, and you can add a bit more pressure. Okay, so now that's all secure. So flip it over. I am actually going to cut all this away because what I can do is add more tape down there to secure it. So just cut below it there. Okay, and then what I can do is add my foam tape all down there. If you want to add some thin pieces down there as well, you can do. It might be worth just doing that. You don't want anything to interfere with the pull mechanism itself. Okay, so taking all the backing off, and then I'm going to focus on the top here so it's flush with the top of the card. So I'm just slightly tilting it there, and then just make sure I've got the same border on the left and the right. So I'm just looking at all the stitched lines there, and then once you're happy, just drop that down like so. You'll see it will all fit in there nicely. So now you're all thinking, well, you've got all these slots. What you can do is you could cut more mats and layers and just stick them to cover it completely. what I'm going to do is I'm going to disguise it all with my decoration. So I've got here the fence here, which the line of the fence covers perfectly the slot down there. So that's already got rid of that one. And then I was going to have some sheep kind of flying and hopping. So we're going to have this one, which is going to cover a good portion there. And then this one is going to cover there, and I'm going to lift it up on some foam, probably have him lifted. That one not so, but this one lifted, so it's slightly overlapping there. So they're kind of jumping and playing in the sky. We're going to have this cow just behind here. I think that's kind of what I had in mind. I've got the grass, which is going to be lifted on some foam to go in front, and then I'm going to have him just down there. Or did I decide to do it the other way? I think he looked quite good, like he's on the hills there, and then he was just down, yeah, behind the grass that way. So he's like more in the foreground, and then these are all in the background. And then I've got this cute little chick which I popped in the milk churn. Again, I've got a video showing you how to paper piece all of these icons together, but I thought he looked quite cute. And just to add a little bit of yellow that kind of pulls the yellow together there, might bring them up a bit higher, something like that. And I thought he looked quite cute just down there. I mean, I go over the top with my cards. If you don't want to add this much decoration, then you don't have to. And then you've got the little flower there, which I thought, I just popped a bit of foam on the back, but that could look quite sweet just on the top there as well. Yeah, something like that. You've got on the stamp set here, you've got these kind of action or movement stamps, and there's the sheep there, or the lamb. So I might add a couple of those, or maybe the one there with the backside of the sheep. That one looks really good on a wobbler, and you'll see that in future videos. So I think, yeah, something like that. I think that looks really cool. And then I'm going to use some of my accent glaze, and I think I'm going to go over the patches on the cow. I think that'll look really effective. So once I've stuck it all down, I will show you it all in more detail. So there's the finished card. I've loved making this one. It's been so much fun. So you can see the little action stamps there. Just gives it a bit more movement, I think. But like I said, these on a wobbler will look really cool. So then pull the top. Have an utterly awesome day. And that's just drying there. You can see all the accent glaze over the top. Normal working cards, you've got all your space inside there. You can pop gift cards, all sorts in here. But as I've said in all the videos, make sure you pop a mat and layer inside just to kind of balance a bit of the weight, because obviously there's a lot on here. But you can see, you know, that does still hold itself open and it can be displayed. And that will all go into a DL size envelope. Even with that dimension, that will still go in an envelope. But if you don't want all of that bulk, then you don't need to use the foam to attach this piece. You can just use your double-sided tape, and you don't need to add like the sheep and all the decoration on foam like I have. As always, everything I've used today will be linked in the description box below. I have some other tutorials coming up now using this collection, so you might want to watch those next. And check out the playlist as well, that would have been shared in the video. Give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed today, and I'll be back again very soon. Take care. Bye.